Welcome back, brothers and sisters. I am Braden. This is Langley Outdoors Academy, the place where we not only talk about what's going on in the gun world, but also how we're going to fix it together. And the content that I'm going to show you right now is going to make you at least raise an eyebrow. Would you believe that there are reports coming out of Chicago that all the COVID funds and stimulus that was put and injected into the economy actually was used to further the illegal gun trade, therefore creating more gun crime, and therefore giving them a reason to try to take our rights? Would you believe that? Everything's going to be linked in the description box below, and I can't wait to hear what you guys think about this one. And of course, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn the notification bell on. Now, the content today is brought to you by Vanish. I'm going to show you a quick spot from them, and then we are going to hit this. My brothers and sisters, I am excited to bring you what I think is the biggest giveaway that I've ever seen on this channel, and it's brought to you by Vanish Holsters. Now, Vanish Holsters is made for the everyday American concealed carry patriot, not the upper echelons of the gun world. We're talking somebody who wants to have a gun, have it be comfortably stored, and safely stored to protect themselves and those that they love. This is the most comfortable holster that you're ever going to wear. This is a 48-inch belt that fits universally to anybody, and it's completely ambidextrous. It has a no-stink material, and it fits up to a 46-inch waist. This is something that you're going to want to check out. Look at this. They are launching the biggest giveaway I have ever had on this channel. They are giving one of you this incredible Jeep Gladiator and $25,000 worth of gold thanks to Vanish. To enter, all you have to do is click the link in the description and get yourself the most comfortable holster you've ever worn, and Vanish is hooking you up. Get $40 off now when you use my link in the description box. All right, my beautiful people, we've got to dive in. In full disclosure, this article is from NSSF. So it is a Pro 2A source. However, everything's sourced and cited. Listen to what they are saying. And this is, again, coming out of Chicago. Shocker of all shockers. Check this out. Fraudulent COVID claims fueled black market gun trade. America can add one more lingering effect of the COVID-19 pandemic. Easy access to government funds fueled fraudulent claims that heated up the illicit black market of firearms, especially by criminal gangs and illegal drug networks. In other words, it wasn't the lawful sale of a record number of firearms in 2020 and 2021 that was responsible for crime. It was the government tax dollar giveaways without guardrails that criminals co-opted. Well, wouldn't you know, criminals would co-opt free money with no checks, no balances, no nothing, and then further their criminal enterprises. It's kind of along the same lines of gun control is not going to stop criminals because they're criminals. Kind of that same vibe. Let me show you what they're propagating here, because this is interesting, particularly when you look at all the things and laws that were broken using government funds. The low threshold to claim COVID-19 relief money from the federal government made it all too easy for criminal gangs, like these people, to tap into free money. The money was used for crimes of illegal firearm straw purchases and even a murder for hire plot. Gun control groups blame the firearm industry for the rising rates of violence during the COVID-19 pandemic. The truth is clearer now. Lack of oversight to ensure COVID relief funds weren't fraudulently obtained is a contributing factor, along with soft on-crime policies and elected officials who refused to jail criminals. That's very well said. You pumped a lot of money without guardrails into the system. They started using those things to fund illegal criminal activity and take advantage of the stimulus. And then at the exact same time, as crime goes up, you have prosecutors and DAs in liberal bastions like Chicago who are not prosecuting criminals, putting them back on the street, propagating the entire thing all over again. It's a doom loop. You put a lot of money without accountability, you put criminals in with no accountability, and oh my goodness, it's almost like accountability is the solve here, not taking the rights from everyone across the nation, of which we are blessed to have, by the way. Let's continue, because like I said, they brought receipts on this. This is some interesting stuff. We've repeatedly seen a connection between violent crime, violent criminal street gangs, and the COVID fraud space throughout the country, said Michael Galdo, Director of COVID-19 Fraud Enforcement for the Justice Department. This is not a small-time cop in some podunk town. This is a guy who's running all the fraud for the Justice Department. Anyway, criminal gangs figured out how to game the system and defrauded the government of millions of dollars that were used to buy illicitly traded guns and drugs. Even criminals behind bars got in on the act. Government estimates pegged the figure at no less than $250,000 of COVID unemployment insurance benefits went to federal inmates. Great job. Federal agents said the price of illegally sold guns soared. And this is the part where I can actually prove it. Criminals conspired to lie on the COVID applications and applied for loans for businesses that didn't exist. They used the funds that in most cases didn't need to be repaid to buy guns on the black market from other gangs, and in some cases to entice illegal straw purchasers. The entire thing was fueled and funded by government money with no accountability, which led to, on the broad scale, massive inflation, massive housing inflation, inflation across the board. Everything is unlivable. And at the same time, they fueled a gun violence epidemic by basically propagating the illegal gun trade. Great job, guys. Great job. Maybe you can tell me now about how it's our fault, the Second Amendment advocates, that all these guns and all these things are horrible things occurred because it's us, not because of criminals who use funds that you gave them with no accountability and had no accountability for the criminal behavior done with said guns. This is pretty obvious. This is pretty easy. If the price of a Glock goes up on the street, that means it's got... Goodness gracious. Anyway, let's continue. Here we go. This is the part where you get to punch back at the gun controllers a little bit. This is all, of course, counter to the narrative that gun control groups and politicians were saying as crime rates rose unabated. They pointed the finger at the firearm industry, ignoring that firearms are only sold after an ATF form 4473 is completed and signed and an FBI National Criminal Background Check verification is run. Those lying on the forms to buy guns for those who can't are committing felonies, which the firearm industry warns the public through this program, which partners with the DOJ and the ATF. Still waiting to find out where it's the legal gun owners of the problem when you are literally looking at exactly the issue. Government irresponsibility and no accountability, and then you have no accountability on the prosecutors. It's very, very straightforward. Anyway, last thing I'm going to show you, and this is a good way to wrap this article. President Joe Biden was the grand marshal for the parade of gun control advocates blaming crime on the firearm industry, along with Attorney General Merrick Garland. The culprit was much closer to home. Government programs made it too easy to fraudulently claim taxpayer dollars that fueled crime. Meanwhile, the Biden administration refused to acknowledge that criminals would game the system to steal money and commit even more crime. Here's the payoff, quote, "They're in a life of crime. They are repeat offenders who are committing crimes on a regular basis, and now we're essentially giving them public money to fund what they're going to do. Anytime we have that connection, that should be particularly troubling to people." Hey, here's a question. Why are we not hearing anything from Merrick Garland, the head of the DOJ? Steve Dittelbach, ATF? Biden, White House? Kamala Harris, Gun Violence Prevention Office? Anything? None of these things being said, huh? That's really odd how all of these things are being shuffled under the rug, but we need more gun control. This is a big deal, people. Let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you on the next one. I'm Braden. See you later.